Hi everyone, Rick here again. I've already done a few videos of how the training and tutorial goes for the Squier Rock Band 3 Pro guitar. I've done note basics, I've done the song lessons for Hardest Button to Button by the White Stripes, and we've actually played the entire song on easy. And I like the fact that it gave you one simple note lesson and then got you straight into playing the song, which I think was good because that's what everybody wants to do when they start to play the guitar. They want to play a song. And even though you're not playing the whole song, you know, they're dropping notes and changing chords into just the root notes, things like that. It still gives you a good feel for, you know, oh my God, I'm playing guitar, this is amazing. And that's going to hold your interest, which I think is a lot of fun. So, but now we're back to actual exercises. We're moving on from note basics to more note basics. So we'll go into this. You'll immediately see, I've already played through this, so all the bars are already green. Hopefully this will go a little smoother than my first few runs through. It gets a little trickier now because you're moving between a lot more strings. The original note basics, all of the lessons were only on one string, except for the final lesson went to 2 strings. We're already using 3 strings. Not only are we using 3 strings, you'll see here, starting out on the A string, then we're going to the D string, then to the low E string. So now we're actually jumping over a string. So this is a good beginning exercise to get you a feel for the spacing between the strings and where the different strings are. So here we go. So, very simple, they were only open notes. The purpose of that exercise was more to give you a feel for the spacing between the strings than for any kind of advanced fretting or anything like that. So now we'll move on to the next exercise. So this is pretty simple, just 2 strings. We'll see how this goes. So there we're moving between strings, and we're playing some open notes, some fretted notes, just a very simple exercise to get you some feel for the fretboard and for the distance between the strings. On to the next one. Now we're playing 3 different strings here, and we're all muddled up in the middle of the strings, which is a good exercise to help you understand the spacing between the strings and how to move from one string to another. Because obviously the low E and the high E are the easiest to pick. Once you start getting in the middle is where things get confusing, especially if you're trying to look at the screen and not at your hand. Now, if I were playing this for real and not kind of trying to keep this short, I would play that again a few times, because the only reason I played that well is because, you know, the notes are coming at you so slowly, I had time to correct myself. But, yeah, you could see a lot of instances where my finger was on the wrong string, or I was on the wrong fret, and I was doing a little bit of moving around before the note finally got there, and I picked it. These are great things to just, you know, don't just get them out of the way for the sake of getting them out of the way. Stick with them. If you're not playing them perfectly, just keep at it until they're, you know, you're doing it as second nature without even thinking about it. Here we're doing a jangle riff. Press the first fret with your index finger and the third fret with your ring finger. So the idea of this is to give you a little feel for, you know, finger positioning and the correct fingering, which I probably rarely use, and so this is good advice. I'm just happy to hit the notes. I'm not thinking so much about it if my fingers are placed perfectly. So again, a very simple exercise. One nice thing about it is, again, you're jumping over a string. You know, you're on the high E, then you're jumping to the G, so you're jumping over the B note, B string. So again, a lot of these exercises are just meant to give you a good feel for the distance between the strings in space, so that you can hit the right string at the right time as you get into more advanced techniques. Now we're going to do left-hand mutes. You'll see the mute is, you'll see the symbol when it comes up. It's kind of like a blue bar with a little X in it. As far as playing Rock Band 3, it doesn't make much sense because the strings are already muted. But if the real song has mutes, they're going to want you to play them, because the ultimate goal is not to just use this as a fancy controller, but to at some point actually unplug and plug into an amp and see how you sound, and make sure that, you know, you sound like you're playing the song in real life, just like you do when you're playing the game. So we'll do these finger mutes. So hopefully you can see my hand in the video there. The idea with the mutes is just that when you're playing the notes that are coming down with the zero on them, your hand's nowhere near the fretboard. You're plucking that string and letting it ring out. When the mutes come along, you've got your finger touching the string, but you're not actually pressing it down onto the fret. So that's how mutes work. Again, like I said, they don't make much sense for playing in Rock Band when you're already muted, but they do make sense for playing real songs through real amplifiers. Now we're going to slide, which will be hell on your fingers. This will build up your calluses. But in addition to that, it's also to give you a feel for the distance. You're only on one string here with the slide. This is more to, you know, give you a feel for exactly how that's notated in the game, and also give you a feel for the distance between the various frets, because we're going to move around quite a bit here. Hey, like I said, that'll build up your calluses. Oh yeah, for darn sure. I was using my middle finger for that. Might not be a bad idea to do this exercise with every single finger, just to help you build up some calluses, because that's the roughest part, especially when I haven't even thought about chords yet. But once you get to them, and you've got, 3 and 4 fingers on the fretboard, and you're sliding all of them back and forth across those strings, you'll want calluses. Okay, now this is getting more into a timing thing. We're going to be playing some notes that are on upbeats instead of the downbeats. If you've played a lot of normal plastic guitar rock band, one thing you probably have a good feel for is, rhythm and timing. So this should be a pretty easy for, normal rock band players. Probably not that easy for someone coming straight to guitar, though. One thing I will say about rock bands, I think it's created a generation of potential musicians with pretty good timing and rhythm. Oh my God, I'm almost done. Alright, that gave me some problems. Not so much the upbeat as getting my placement in space in terms of moving my fingers and the pick between the strings. You only got to play it 3 times right before it tells you to move on to the next section. If I was playing this for real and not trying to keep the timing list to a minimum, there's another one that I would play over and over again until I had it down pat, and which I probably will once I'm done with this little video here. Alright, our last lesson for more note basics, we're going to deploy overdrive. And as you can see, we're moving through a lot of different strings here. Overdrive works the same on this as the normal plastic guitar. You tilt the neck upward. There's also a little overdrive button on the MIDI controller that you can stomp on if you have this on the floor. I guess you don't have to do that once. Most of these exercises you make, you do it 3 times before they move on. But that is your more note basics. And the major point of this note basics that I get is to start moving around between, numerous strings, get a feel for where the strings are in space, where the frets are, moving your hand between the different strings on the frets, moving between different frets, moving your pick hand from string to string and making sure you're hitting the right string. All very important beginner lessons and all kinds of trainer lessons that would be a great idea to just do over and over until you have them down pat, because I can tell you it definitely helps when you start to play the songs. So that is the more note basics, and that's it for now. Take care, everyone. Rock on.